When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Pay attention to negative feedback and solicit it, particularly from friends. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. The problem is that at a lot of big companies, process becomes a substitute for thinking. You're encouraged to behave like a little gear in a complex machine. Frankly, it allows you to keep people who aren't that smart, who aren't that creative. Great companies are built on great products. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. There are really two things that have to occur in order for a new technology to be affordable to the mass market. One is you need economies of scale. The other is you need to iterate on the design. You need to go through a few versions. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. The key to making things affordable is design and technology improvements as well as scale. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. Over time, I think we will probably see a closer merger of biological intelligence and digital intelligence. All orgs developing advanced AI should be regulated, including Tesla. If the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that incredibly depressing. The United States is definitely ahead in culture of innovation. If someone wants to accomplish great things, there is no better place than the US. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with a horse?" That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. 21. Government isn't that good at rapid advancement of technology. It tends to be better at funding basic research. To have things take off, you've got to have commercial companies do it. 22. I think frugality drives innovation, just like other constraints do. One of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. 23. Innovation is taking two things that already exist and putting them together in a new way. Yo. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. 25. The duty of a leader is to serve their people, not for the people to serve them. 26. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. 27. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. 28. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. 29. Entrepreneurship is like eating glass and walking on hot coals at the same time. 30. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. 31. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. 32. We should be much more worried about population collapse. 33. We're running the most dangerous experiment in history right now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before there is an environmental catastrophe. 34. Man has the power to act as his own destroyer, and that is the way he has acted through most of his history. 35. The reality is, gas prices should be much more expensive than they are, because we're not incorporating the true damage to the environment and the hidden costs of mining oil and transporting it to the US. 36. The reason we should do a carbon tax is because it's the right thing to do. It's Economics 101, elementary stuff. 37. To make an embarrassing admission, I like video games. That's what got me into software engineering when I was a kid. I wanted to make money so I could buy a better computer to play better video games. Nothing like saving the world. Fraud. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. I'd like to dial it back 5% or 10% and try to have a vacation that's not just email with a view. 40. If an